I'm not going to walk through each one of these. 'Cause I'll let you do it on your time. But I think I put them in somewhat of an appropriate order. And so the getting started just kind of gives you a layout of the land. The acts of freedom, I've always thought the acts of freedom ought to be one of the first things that we do in our training. And the reason I think that is, Jeff, I can't give you, hey, Jeff, I want you to start doing this unless we take something off your plate first. Otherwise, we end up with overwhelm. Because all of us feel already when we first start all this that we're busy. And so it's like, well, crap, now I got even more to do. Well, I know that most people, including myself, won't just keep adding more stuff to my plate. Something's got to come off, or otherwise I'm going to get burned out. And so the Acts of Freedom talks a little bit about like, here's what you put on your plate. But before you do that, we got to get some of that stuff off your plate, right? You have to do that. So I think that needs to be one of the first things we do. And then I also think getting our head right is just critical. And I think this morning statement, it might be one of the most impactful things that I've ever taught is this little thing right here. It just gets our mind right. I'm not a woo woo guy or foo foo guy. I'm a very, I don't know, science based, conservative in my way of, and I don't mean politically conservative, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just very factual interfaced. But I'm telling you, what we feed in our brain is so important. And I think every morning and every night we have to put something positive in our head is an absolute must. So that's what talks about this. So anyway, you get the idea. And I think the easiest part of the daily success plan to start with is our Tuesday updates, right? That's going to be the easiest. And by the way, the listing agents on the deals we're already doing is likely going to be on an ongoing basis. Once you have some deals going, that's likely be the number one way you're going to get new business is the Tuesday update. And that's why I put that one first instead of, even though Monday is our Thor's Hammer day, that's not the day that I would start with if I'm just starting the daily success plan. I'd probably start with Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. And actually, Monday for me would probably actually be the last day that I'd start with. Because for some of you that's got a pretty good sized past database, hell, you might be good with just your past database and your Tuesday updates. I find with most top producers, that's kind of where they end up at. The idea of working with all these referral partners is to build up our past database, frankly, to make us unreliant on the referral partners, like over time. Uh, these are real easy calls. So then I thought, well, all right, now we got to start calling our past database. Maybe we haven't talked to them in a little while. So that's why I got the call reluctance in here. And then we'd start talking to the past database, how to know when your clients need to refinance. So anyway, that's the basic training. And again, we can just look on the little loan officer mastery uh, uh, course catalog here, and it'll give us just a very brief definition of what each one is. Now, if you noticed, when I went in here and clicked on Thor's Hammer, which I could do that in the catalog or here on the site, it'll also give me a it'll also give me a description much more in depth about what that class is also about. One thing I would strongly encourage you to do is schedule a call with Meg or Jen and tell them, hey, here's where I'm at. What do you recommend that I do first? They have literally talked to thousands and thousands of loan officers going through this process. They're really, really, really excellent at it. And so if you say, hey, here's kind of where I'm at, what do you recommend I do? They can recommend you in what direction to go in.